Hey guys, it's Frank again with another casted game of ZeroSpace for you. In the upper right, we've got our green Legion player, Haachuu! And in the lower left, it's Glorp, our Growl player. Okay, I love that Haachuu is his username. By the way, that might be one of the best usernames I've seen playing competitive ZeroSpace so far. I think the best username I've ever seen, like ever though, is from Battle Aces. His name is Leonardo da Vinci, and everything about him is very crab themed. So it's a crab themed, like Leonardo da Vinci is just beautiful. Okay, alright, Loi crew here. I think managed to get all the Hexite, and they're both floating quite a bit of Hexite for it being this early in the game. Loi crew does want to get more. Is he going to be able to do his AoE? He does. And that, it takes him a long time to swing. Does he do AoE? He does do AoE with his swing. That's kind of cool. Alright, he does manage to get all the Hexite from this tower as well. Where's he going to go? We've got a deep one coming online here for Haachuu. And Haachuu's Galavax finally realized that he's just kind of standing out in the middle of the desert and wants to go do something. Oh, Loi crew getting a bunch of damage done. Gonna be able to get a lot of this finished though. Where's your meatball? Where's the Galavax meatball? Whoa. A bit too late there, and it was a bit of a swing and a miss. That's alright, we won't hold it against you. Alright, the deep one is very nearly finished here, and it's done. What are we going to build with it though, is the next question. Nothing yet. Guardian Obelisk going to some static D already. Okay, oh, right outside of the natural. Okay, I guess that makes sense. And is he the one that started building his natural first? He is. Woof! Loi crew ripping through those thralls as he pleases, as one does. Loi crew uses Surf. It's not very effective. Okay, and Loi crew's gonna go back home. Meanwhile, Haachuu is out here. You might as well just turn this guy into a sacrificial site. Yeah, literally 2 HP. Sorry, bud. You had a good run. Yeah, it looks like Haachuu just wants to get all these experience towers. Makes sense. What's going on in the back here? What does he want to keep hidden? A citadel. What does a citadel do? I don't know. Maybe that's... You know what? Now that I think about it. We'll see once it's finished building. But it almost looks like they didn't want to call it the Academy. The Terran Academy, and the Citadel in the United States, for those of you that don't know, the Citadel is a very famous military school where, yeah, it's like saying, it might be like a tongue-in-cheek way of saying a Terran Academy without calling it an academy. They'll just call it, they'll name it after a famous military school in real life. Oh, down goes the spear. Loi crew does get got by it. Uses his mud ball to get out of there and traverse some of that impassable terrain. And does manage to flee. Is he still slowed, or is that just as fast as he moves normally? I think that's just his normal speed. Either way, Haachuu does manage to kick Glorp off of this tower, and Glorp sitting at 16 supply. That's no good. That's oh, is he just waiting for his feeder vines to come online? Maybe. Oh, we've got an Indari Drake out now for Haachuu. I think, well, Haachuu is kind of supply blocked right now. You got to build more supply buildings, and somehow, despite kind of like owning the map, Haachuu is behind by a single talent level. Let's see what talents Glorp got here. You got Mycelial Reach, which Gatherer Spawn Cultivator cooldown 45 seconds. Gatherer Spawn Cultivator cast range plus 200%. And 50% faster building construction. Ooh, that's pretty good. It's good if you're building greedy. If you're not, then you know you have to actually be making structures to make full use of that. Cultivator Defender. No, it's dead. It's dead. The health bar that went back to full kind of threw me off for a second there. Mudball goes down. Gets so many of those thralls. Speaking of Leonardo da Vinci, a couple of crabs come out and they're starting to do as much damage as they can. Are they infused though? Yeah, it does look like they are infused. Or a couple of them are. Maybe not all of them. Loi crew uses Mudball to come on forward and chews away all of Haachuu. So now their supplies have evened out finally, and Haachuu has reached talent level 2. Hasn't taken a second talent yet. Needs to get on that. They're both. Oh no, they're not both sitting at 2 bases. Glorp took a third, and I think Haachuu knows that this one's here, so it's a matter of defending this one, or kind of like. I don't know. I think this is a perfect opportunity for Haachuu to do a little pincher move right down here, cause some mayhem kind of in this direction, and then force Glorp to react to like, okay, do I want to defend the north or the south? Kind of force the decision to be like, well, you get to defend one. You get to defend one front, either the northern front or the southern front, but you don't get to defend both. Unless the control is crazy enough that he actually can defend both, which would be really cool to see, but Haachuu looks like he's pretty happy to be sitting at home. I wonder if he thinks he's still got the economic lead here, because he's not being aggressive enough for someone that's down by a base. Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he... You know what? Let's find out. Oh, he doesn't know about this base. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So maybe he thinks his opponent's only on 2 bases instead of 3. Okay, does this look like a... it looks like there's supposed to be something that gets sacrificed there eventually, but... yikes. Alright, Healing Obelisk is... either getting built or it's... built and it's recovering. Alright, couple of giant slug dudes. The slugmen are out. But the slugmen I think are only good against a bunch of clumped up smaller units. I don't know if that's going to work all that well against these crabs. You're not going to get the surface area that you want, but maybe you will against these Chakru warriors. Sorry, Chakru cultists. Not warriors. And here we go. Alright, so the aggro starts on the northern base of Glorp. Is Glorp going to defend? Is he going to go up his own ramp, or is he going to try and flank from behind? Looks like he's going to want to go up his own ramp, but he's got to navigate his own cultivators. Okay, Haachuu sees him coming up and says, "You know what? We got some damage done. This should be enough." All right, a bunch of these dark disciples, not acolytes. Oh, where's the meatball? Throw down the meat. There it is. Beautiful connection across the army there. Fighting underneath of his own towers. All right, we did see a spear go down on top of Loi crew there, but is it going to be enough? I'm not sure. We need some kind of spell that benefits from the deaths of all these thralls. That's going to happen. It's inevitable. The healing tower is doing its best as well, but I don't know. I actually think Glorp's army is in pretty decent shape for as in the face as he got on Haachuu. Alright, Loi crew uses Surf. It was kind of effective, I guess, but so much damage from the meatball there. Oh, the big slug's doing all kinds of damage. And, but despite that, despite Glorp kind of taking the worst end of the deal on this fight, the supplies are pretty even. Oh no, these slugs are taking so much damage. They need to get out of there and heal. I think they need to get out of there and heal. Okay. Another meatball goes down. Galavax is taking out what? Oh. Oh, he used resurrection stuff on the big slugs. Is this one gonna be dead soon? Maybe. Maybe. The trick is gonna be to take out, like, all of these... Is it gonna go down? No way. Oh, it does go down. Ay, ay, ay. That Dari Devourer getting out with, you know, 70 HP in a dream. But the base stays. And both players are floating quite a bit of Hexite. Glorp is more than double the income. Oh yeah, it took a 4th and a 5th? Whoa! Okay, yeah, Haachuu has to do something. Haachuu's got to do anything, really, but I don't know that's going to be enough. Haachuu's supply has already fallen behind. Glorp's production is, you know, at full strength and only getting stronger. Getting all the brood rooms, getting all these mandragoras. You know what I'm realizing? All these cultivators are here to provide more cover. Maybe that's not their intended purpose, but that's what they're doing, and it's pretty cool. Alright, more cultivators going down. Or anything that's going to come of this, though. I think Glorp... Maybe Glorp doesn't realize just how ahead they are. And Haachuu is just still, like... They've got so much money. They've got all the money in the world. If your production can't keep up, it's time to build more production buildings, I think. 3.1k. That's a lot to float. Alright, incubators kind of here at the forefront. There's a lot of invisible units that need to load. Okay. The Andari Devourer is going to be doing fantastic AoE damage to so much. Lloyd Crew uses Splash. Surf, excuse me. It does manage to hit quite a few of the units, but did it actually do much? I don't know. Alright, this healing turret has got its work cut out for it. But then again, there's not all that much that got hurt. Yeah, I wonder if these thralls are actually meant to be bubble wrap. And they're just there so that the larger units aren't... You know, they're there to be overkilled. So that way the larger units aren't getting targeted down. And if that's the case, I mean, it's been working out great, but... Still, Haachuu's like... I don't know how Glorp hasn't just completely dominated yet. Like, look at this! Glorp has every single base on the map minus 1 and 2. But that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases to the 2 bases of Haachuu. This is bananas, as Gwen Stefani said. It's B-A-N-A-N-A-S, for those of you that were wondering. We've got more static D... Like, that's another thing that I'm not a big fan of. Like, you build static D when you're kind of maxed out and you don't have anywhere else for your money to go. But Haachuu definitely has places where his money could be going. Oh, down goes a spear. The meatball comes forward, but it's not going to do much against these cultivators. Cultivators kind of fighting on their own. Is it going to be enough? Yep, cultivators go down, and Haachuu does manage to get a second XP tower back. Again, the gap in supply has stayed pretty consistently at, like, right at 20, but no way does Haachuu actually get up to 4k Hexite just floating there freely. Glorp, in the meanwhile, has the opposite problem. They've got way too much flux, but flux isn't... Flux I can kind of understand. Like, you've only got so many, like, higher tier unit production facilities. You're obviously not going to be able to have as many of those as you would have, say, a brood womb. So getting rid of Hexite is definitely easier than getting rid of flux, but... With like, all the resourcing that Glorp has, I think Glorp can just, like, throw down as many production structures as they want. And call it good right there. What is this? Tree of Life? I think that just provides a passive regen, right? Yeah, it does. Okay. So we've got slugs and the avatar flying critters. I never saw any of the other avatars. I only saw the first one. And, what's gonna happen? Is the fight actually gonna come up here? I guess so. Oh, forcing Glorp to fight up his own ramp is pretty fun. Oh no, but is Haachuu's entire army gonna get caught here? It does. The Galavax meatball makes a fantastic connection across the entire army of Glorp. But is it gonna be enough? I don't think it is. Haachuu's just simply surrounded. Lloyd Crew uses his mud ball, but decides not to teleport. One of the big slug things does get taken out. So Haachuu's down to 50 supply to Glorp's 92. Is that going to be enough? Yeah, look at it, like... These thralls are, again, they're technically there, but are they going to be able to do much? I don't know. It looks like this army is just mostly backline units. You don't have any frontline to speak of. What is this? Okay, Stormbringer could be good. But again, you just don't... they exalted... You have one exalted? That's fine. Look at this. Look at that cultivator. Alright, we've done it! We've gotten all the way across the entire top of the... We got across the entire top of the screen. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Where the production finally got, like, all the way across the top of the screen. Okay, that Tree of Life... Yeah, it is a permanent structure, and just, like, being able to chill there and get all the regen is so good. Healing Tower is going to do its best, but these These static D cultivators want none of it. Down goes the healing tower. Alright, now the forces are going to be joined here. Beautiful storm there. Yeah, all these cultivators are adding DPS to the fight. Glorp is really doing a good job of treating these cultivators the same way you would treat, like, spine crawlers or spore crawlers in SC2. Just using them as, you know... And 17 DPS is not nothing. And they do bonus against air. They're pretty good. But Haachuu, I will give credit where credit's due. Haachuu's managed to keep his supply no more than like 20 behind Glorp's, despite Glorp being like crazy ahead in terms of the Hexite income. Speaking of income, Haachuu's down to 462 Hexite per minute coming in. Oh no, you don't want these. You don't want your Andari Drakes to be taking that damage. One Exalted comes down. All right. Beautiful connections from those storms there. Yeah, fighting into all these cultivators is just so brutal. No, you don't want your Andari Drake. The Andari Drakes are going to be taking that bonus damage. No, get your Andari Drakes out of there. No, those are very nice units. Ah, look at that. And another Tree of Life goes down. Those storms are getting a lot of good connections, but with the Tree of Life right there, everything gets back to full HP pretty quickly. Yeah, just being able to take it out quickly, I think, is just not going to happen. Galavax throws down a fireball, gets a pretty decent connection across the army, but I don't think it's going to be enough. No, now finally the supply gap is just blown wide open. Glorp's well into the triple digits, whereas Haachuu's stuck at 52. His entire army's pretty battered and bruised. I think it's just a matter of time. Yeah, so Glorp could rush on forward, and I don't want to say Glorp could just move in and win, but we are kind of at that point in the game. But Glorp is being playing it very, very safe. Which, to be honest, is a little surprising. Yeah, but there's cultivators absolutely everywhere. Now it's Glorp that's floating 400 Hexite, but what is Haachuu not spending his Hexite on? Why is he not spending his Hexite? He's got Hexite and he's got Flux. Does he only have 3 production buildings? No. Got the Bestiary and 2 racks and that's it? Is that it? Yeah, that's the entire base. Yeah, definitely needed more production facilities just to, I think if Haachuu had built a couple more production facilities and kept taking the fights that he was, I think this would be a very different fight, or a different, game. Look, those are great connections by the Galavax Fireball. Was it enough, though? These Andari Devourers getting us a lot of AoE done, but the units for Glorp are not like the small, squishy, tightly packed units that you want if you're getting the maximum value from the Andari Devourers. But I think we are seeing the beginning of the end here. Like, the idle conduits are going down. The barracks are cranking out. They're each cranking out 1 batch of thralls each at a time. I think it's just kind of it. Alright, the Andari Devourers are kind of saying, like, hey, this is the Battle of Thermopylae. Here are the gates of Hod that you're going to have to get through if you want to finally kill me off. I think Haachuu understands that the game is over, or that there's no way that he could possibly, like, I don't know, break out. He's just so contained. There's nowhere on the map for him to go. What is that? Why is this a yellow cultivator? What does that mean? Alright, here comes the assault. Glorp's moving on in, taking a bunch of damage from the Galavax Fireball, but all this kind of poking in and out just means that he's taking more damage where he doesn't need to. There we go. Now another Tree of Life pops out. It's going to be providing all that regen for a huge army. The AoE regen kind of has the same math behind it as AoE damage. The more tightly packed your units are, the more your army benefits from it. Down goes the bestiary. The 2 racks in the high ground are still active, but I think this is just it. Yeah, he's just moving in. He could probably go and get himself a cup of coffee, and he's still gonna win this match. Are we gonna see a GG yet? No, but we did see Galavax kind of die. You know, it's also interesting that we didn't see any more heroes come out from Haachuu. And there it is, GG's, ladies and gentlemen. Glorp, after eating the entire map, takes out Haachuu, the player with a fantastic username. GG's, guys, and by the way, if you liked what you saw, feel free to like and subscribe the video. I will see you guys later.